Hey guys, Rusty Reckless here with another Blu-ray update. Today I'll be showing you some of the new movies I got. So, first up on the list, I got The Wolf of Wall Street, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill. If you haven't seen this, it basically stars Leonardo DiCaprio as a stockbroker. He starts working on Wall Street, basically, and the company that he works for goes out of business. So after that, he starts doing like penny stocks for this really shady low company. Basically, he shows them a thing or two about how to screw people over. Shit gets more shadier and shadier. Basically, they just keep screwing people out of stocks, and they become like this huge corporation in New York City. If you haven't seen this, I highly recommend it. It's probably one of the best movies I saw of last year. I mean, it's just over the top. Martin Scorsese. I always have trouble saying his fucking name. But anyway, he directed this. If you don't know what he did Goodfellas, Casino. So many great movies over the year. But basically, Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill are a bunch of crazy drug addict stockbrokers that are just trying to rip everybody off in the movie and become multi-millionaires in the long run. Highly recommend this one. If you got 2.5 hours of time, it's well worth spent. The Wolf of Wall Street. Next up on the list, I got American Hustle, starring Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, and Amy Adams. Basically, American Hustle stars Christian Bale. It takes place in around the 1970s, and Christian Bale's a con man. And he meets Amy Adams, and they both start basically conning people. And from there, they do a wrong con. The FBI kind of tricks them, and they have to set up the mayor, which is played by Jeremy Renner, that played in The Town and The Avengers. Basically, if you're looking for a good, like 70s, almost reminds you of something that like a Martin Scorsese movie or a Brian De Palma movie from like the 70s or early 80s, I really recommend this. It got 10 Best Picture nominees by the Academy Award. I don't know if it won. I don't really watch that stuff. But anyway, that's American Hustle. Next on the list, another new one. Just got Anchorman 2 starring Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, and Steve Carell. It basically just picks up where the first Anchorman movie left off. And you know, Ron Burgundy and his wife, played by Christina Applegate, are still together. But they kind of split up, and you find that, like, right in the beginning. I'm not really spoiling anything. And Ron Burgundy actually has to get another job, and he starts working for this news company that basically is like the CNN, you know, 24-hour news, because it takes place in the 80s. I loved the first Anchorman, and, you know, I heard some people say they didn't really like the second one. I don't know what they were talking about. I thought it was one of the best sequels I saw in years. I love Will Ferrell. He's kind of like one of those people, if you don't like him, you're not going to like this, but if you loved Anchorman, you're going to love this. Anchorman 2. Next up, this one was kind of a downer movie, but at the end, it gets its redemption. It's called Prisoners. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman, that doesn't even look like Hugh Jackman. Am I the only one that's seeing this? But anyway, basically it's about Hugh Jackman and Trent Howard. They're at a Thanksgiving party, and their two kids are like, "Oh, hey Dad, we're going to go up the street." And to like Hugh Jackman's house to go get something. Here the kids end up missing. And it's just like one of those movies, if you have kids, which I don't, but it made me think a thing or two about letting my kids walk down the street to my house. Anyway, the movie, you know, the kids are kidnapped, and he's trying to figure out who's doing it. There's a suspicious, like, character roaming around, and he's kind of mentally challenged. You don't know if he is or not, and you don't know if he's sick or not. But anyway, Hugh Jackman basically starts having to take the law in his own hands, because after the first 48 hours, the cops are like, well, we can't do anything. And you know what? I don't blame the guy. I would do the same thing. But anyway, if you're looking for a really good, kind of sad movie, but really good movie, I would definitely check this out. Prisoners. Next up on the list, I was in an 80s mood, so I picked up The Breakfast Club. If you haven't seen The Breakfast Club, I don't know where you've been, but basically it's about a bunch of kids in high school, and they all have Saturday morning detention. It's, you know, one of the best 80s movies of all time. John Hughes, it was a John Hughes movies. He made Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Weird Science, the list goes on and on, even Home Alone. I mean, I love John Hughes movies. I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I love The Breakfast Club. So here's that. Next up on the list, another 80s classic, 16 Candles, starring Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall. Another John Hughes movie. God, lack of sleep. Another John Hughes movie. It's basically about Molly Ringwald's character, and it's her 16th birthday, and her family forgets. You know, and she's devastated. She's 16 and all that, and she has a crush on this dude right here. And, you know, but Anthony Michael Hall's, like, all over her, and he wants her and stuff. It's just a good teenage comedy from the 80s. It's a classic. And then another John Hughes movie. I got 3 all at one time. Yes, I'm crazy. Weird Science. It's another John Hughes movie starring Anthony Michael Hall and Ian Mitchell Smith. I don't even know where that guy is anymore. But basically 2 nerds go on a computer the one day and they make a girl because they're too nerdy to get a girl. I mean, I think a lot of people were that way in high school, you know, or middle school, where you're like, I can't get a girl, so let's go create one on the internet. I wish I had that fucking invention, but no, I didn't. But anyway, if you haven't seen Weird Science, it's a different kind of John Hughes movie. It's kind of out there. It was actually a successful movie, and it even had a TV series, I remember, in the early 90s when I was a kid watching it. I don't mind seeing that. They should probably release that on DVD so my dumbass can buy it. Anyway, Weird Science. And up next, I bought Gardenstate. It stars Zach Braff and Natalie Portman. Zach Braff is basically known from Scrubs, but he wrote and directed this movie, actually. I really like it. It's from, 2004. It just came out on Blu-ray. It was really hard to find. Like, I went to like a million Best Buys and stuff, and then the one day we were at Best Buy, and it was like the $7.50 bin. For $7.50, it's really worth it. Basically, Zach Braff, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, he comes back to his old town because his mother passed away, and he, you know, basically when he turned 18, he went to Hollywood to become an actor, and he had like one big role in this movie, and he's kind of like a struggling actor with some like psychological problems. But he returns back to his hometown and kind of like starts hanging out with his old friends again, seeing what they're all up to. While he's back in town, he meets this girl, Natalie Portman, and she seems a little loony as well. So, I mean, it's just like a good comedy / drama movie, like kind of a dramedy, as they're calling these movies nowadays. But, I mean, it's a really original movie, and I really recommend it. Gardenstate.